Okay, so why haven't I made a DJI Mic 2 follow-up video? It's because I'm a pretty chill dude, and I needed to let the heat from my last DJI Mic 2 video, simmer down a little bit. But today we're going to talk about a few things. Why I am returning my DJI Mic 2 set, what my resolution with my issue was with my DJI Mic 2 transmitters, and what I think, in my opinion, is the real problem with the DJI Mic 2. And spoiler alert, it doesn't really have anything to do with how the units function or work. And so in this video, we are not going to talk about specific features. I'm not going to tell you how to use your microphones. We're not going to talk about 32-bit float. But I am going to bring up to speed about what I feel like is important to know about the DJI Mic 2s so that you have all the information you need to make educated decisions. So if you've been following my channel, you know that I purchased the DJI Mic 2 transmitter, 1 receiver, charging case set on launch day. And when I got mine, I started through some initial testing, and the results were that my 2 transmitters that were included in my kit, in my opinion, the built-in microphones sounded different. And I made a whole video on it, and you can agree or disagree. Maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't. And I contacted DJI and I said, hey, my 2 microphones, they sound different. Here's all the files. What do you think the resolution is? And we've been going back and forth with emails about information and serial numbers and stuff like that. And in the meantime, these 2 DJI mics, I went out. And yeah, I bought a 3rd DJI Mic transmitter. And so I currently have 3 of these guys, 2 that were included in my original set and 1 additional one that I purchased standalone. So right now, let's do the only sound test that you're going to hear with the DJI Mic 2s. In fact, this whole video, I'm not even recording on the DJI Mic 2s because that could turn into a thing. But we're going to do a test of my 3 DJI Mic 2 transmitters back to back to back, and then again back to back to back, so that you can hear for yourself a comparison of the same audio, so you can make a decision about what you hear. These 2 transmitters are green. They are connected to the receiver, which means that all of the settings are the same between these 2 things. And the low-cut filter is off, 32-bit float is on, noise reduction is off. Look, they're green, no noise reduction. This guy is flashing blue because it is paired, or I have it usually paired directly with my Action 4. And so I'm going to start the internal recordings on all of these, and then we'll have a listen for ourselves. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. This is a sound test of my DJI Mic 2 transmitters. This is a sound test of my DJI Mic 2 transmitters. This is a sound test of my DJI Mic 2 transmitters. This is a sound test of my DJI Mic 2 transmitters. This is a sound test of my DJI Mic 2 transmitters. This is a sound test of my DJI Mic 2 transmitters. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, what is the resolution here? In my opinion, I heard some distinct differences between my 2 transmitters that were included that were green and my single transmitter that I received standalone. This single transmitter definitely sounds like the brighter of the 2 microphones on this side. And I think DJI agrees with me because the resolution for my issue is that they suggested I return my DJI Mic 2 set that I initially purchased for a replacement. And so I'm going to do that. I'm sending my set back, but I am not going to get a replacement because I am holding off. Because I like the single transmitter that I got. It has the sound qualities that I preferred out of my 2 transmitter set, and I'm going to use it standalone by itself for a little while until I feel the need to go ahead and purchase the full kit again and or purchase another transmitter and receiver or charging case. Because the reality is, I think that The DJI Mic 2s are best for people that own the DJI Pocket 3 and the DJI Action 4, because the features that DJI implemented with the Mic 2 transmitters, being able to connect directly to those cameras, that's the game changer feature. That's the thing that I think is the standout feature that should be the focus of their sales and marketing. And the reason why I haven't done a review of my set, and I think this is really getting down to the inherent problem with the DJI Mic 2s, is that the DJI Mic 2 set, it sounds fine. I mean, it's just fine. It sounds fine. It works fine. It connects to different things fine. That's the bottom line. They're fine. And it's not to say that anything is bad, and it's not to say that there are no bugs or issues that could be ironed out in some way, shape, or form with firmware updates. And in fact, DJI has already done that. They rolled out firmware updates on, I think it was January 31st, for the transmitters and receivers, enabling additional functionality. And I appreciate that, right? Because DJI is looking out for the end user. They are gathering feedback and they are making changes where they can to improve the user experience. And otherwise, everything just seems fine. In my opinion, the big problem with the DJI Mic 2 is that it barely meets our expectations. Now, before you jump all over me, let's put it in a little bit of context here. When DJI released their Mic 1 a couple years back, no one was really expecting anything from it, right? They were like, oh, DJI is launching a wireless mic kit. They're getting into the wireless mic game. There are an abundance of wireless mic consumer sets around. And I think expectations were low. And because the DJI Mic 1 was such a great wireless mic set, that particular product exceeded everyone's expectations. And the reviews were glowing. Everyone was like, this is the best wireless mic you can buy. And yeah, it was just way better than everyone thought it was going to be. So fast forward a couple years, and we are all eagerly awaiting the second version of the DJI Mic. And we are hoping that DJI does some tweaks to fix all the small things that we didn't like and add extra new features. And they did that, right? They fixed the cold shoe. They reworked how the USB-C and the Lightning dongle attach, right, for a better and more secure connection. They say what you will about the noise reduction feature. They added noise reduction built into their system. They added the capabilities of the transmitters to be connected directly to their cameras. They increased 32-bit float recording, and they did a whole bunch of things that make the product really awesome. The issue is that our expectations were so high, and all of the initial influencer content that was released on launch day was so glowing that when we finally got our hands on it, the product didn't exceed our expectations. It legit was just good enough. It was fine. It was fine. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't believe this exists, right? Like the DJI Mic 1 was. And so, yes, there are a whole bunch of great features. I think if we were living in a bubble and the DJI Mic 2 was the only wireless set, the first wireless set that came out, the first thing we ever saw about anything like it, we would all be blown away because it legit is awesome. I say that with the caveat that the built-in microphones may not sound the best, but they are fine. Like, everything is fine. If you are in the need of a wireless set and you don't want to spend more than $350, I would argue that the DJI Mic 2 is probably the best value for your dollar. You're getting 32-bit float recording. You are getting really slick charging case, and I think the connection issues are pretty stable. I think the ability to connect via Lightning, USB-C, output via USB-C, output via 3.5 millimeter TRS, interface with a whole bunch of different cameras in a bunch of different ways. It's all great. I mean, it's all great. But it's not a set that blows me away because I had such high expectations. And I think that is the case for a lot of people out there, where they are anticipating that the DJI Mic 2 is going to be the end-all be-all of wireless mic systems. And the reality is, any number of these wireless mic systems that do not have replaceable batteries are essentially disposable tech that will be obsolete within a certain amount of years. And so the idea, the notion that the next generation of a product is going to be bigger and better and more amazing is the folly of GoPro, where there are subtle incremental changes between certain generations of GoPro that make it or make it not worth upgrading from the previous year, but that if you hold out for a certain number of years, that leap then becomes worth your money to upgrade. And for people that are really keen on the DJI Mic 2 and moving from the DJI Mic 1, in my opinion, the 32-bit float is a valid reason to upgrade. The ability for the transmitters to connect directly to DJI cameras, the Pocket 3 and the Action 4, and having certain functionalities between that is worth the upgrade. Sound quality, they're fine. If you plan on using an external lavalier microphone, then you don't have to worry about it. It's fine, right? If you are casually creating content and you're not worrying so much about audio quality, then the built-in mics are fine. Like, it's all good. It really boils down to resetting our level of expectations when it comes to any kind of consumer product, any kind of new release, seeing what the actual advantages are of any given product over their competitors, and then us doing that individual, critical thinking to see if it is worth our hard-earned money. And in my opinion, I don't have a need for a full set right now, but I do rather enjoy using my single transmitter in conjunction with my Action 4. And so will I be repurchasing a whole kit? Maybe. But in the meanwhile, can I recommend the DJI Mic 2 to people? Yeah, if you have a DJI camera, if you want a small 32-bit float recorder and understand some of the limitations around the system, including that they only record in mono and that certain functionality, is implemented a certain way, then yeah, man, the DJI Mic 2 is great. Props to DJI for being cool to work with regards to facilitating a resolution of my issue. And also props to them for offering you multiple ways to purchase their product that isn't just a $350 set. Because I think that shows that they are thinking about you, the end consumer, when it comes to what your specific needs may be, and are trying to cater their product to fit a variety of different use cases and a variety of different users. So that's my final say on the DJI Mic 2. If you want in-depth reviews, there are a bevy of them out there. Go visit Curtis Judd's channel. And thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk again real soon.